Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Aaron X. Welcome back to Coastal Clash 2, brought to you by Colossus. It is an absolute mammoth afternoon here in Thanet, and we have something quite special on tap once again. The centerpiece, David Francisco, once again presents his open challenge. Unsurprisingly, David Francisco not pleased with the reception he has received for the Lossy Posse here at St. John's Church and Community Centre. A packed out house here to witness some of the best professional wrestlers on the South Coast. And to give him his due, David Francisco, the centerpiece, is very much one of the best professional wrestlers walking this earth today. Unfortunately, he has an attitude that is left a little lacking.
It's not how you spell goals. It's not 1995. It's not 19. I'll do it. I'm going to do it.
David Francisco already scouring the Lossy Posse, looking for any reason, I would argue, to get upset is David Francisco. You want to talk about a male Karen.
Hear me?
There is no denying the quality.
That is not how you spell my name.
David Francisco is monitoring our younger audience. I'm sure spelling comes with time. The centerpiece, he's all over the Lossy Posse and vice versa. They're all over him, frankly. Ultimately, respect is earned. Arguably Portugal's finest import, ladies and gentlemen, David Francisco, once again adorning himself here at Colossus for Coastal Clash 2. Momentarily, we are going to have an open challenge matchup.
No, shut up, I'm not done. This is until I get the respect I've earned when I do my entrance. I will always grab this microphone and say what I want to say. Earlier today, I was talking to Jack over here, and he was telling me how annoying it is that you talk over him even though he has a microphone, and you keep doing it for everybody because you people are some of the rudest wrestling fans that I've seen in my life. Oh, you don't like when the music gets listened to you, do ya? I am, and I will continue to be the adult in the room, and that includes you. So I'm going to continue to contribute to the dire scene of Margate the way that I have. And trust me, you're at fault because there's a lot of wrestlers that don't want to put up with you. I've opened the Thanet Open Invitational and people continue to take it except one person. Today, the person that took the invitational, that accepted the challenge, is Buck Garcia. I'm sorry, not today, months ago, but then he ran away like a coward, didn't he? He was too afraid of wrestling David Francisco then, and today he knew he couldn't run away anymore. But trust me, after I'm done with him, he's gonna wish he had never come back to a wrestling ring. Now you can bring him out.
Well, obviously, as David Francisco has alluded to, Buck Garcia will answer the open challenge. Now, David Francisco seems to have his own version of events. This young man was scheduled to face David Francisco, was scheduled to answer the open challenge, but unfortunately, due to a family emergency, could not answer said open challenge. So David Francisco, as per usual, twisting whatever he considers the truth to suit his needs. The reality is Buck Garcia was more than ready to face David Francisco the first time round, and is more than ready to face him this time round. Buck Buck Garcia, obviously, will finally have his crack at Dave Francisco.
David!
No one wants to hear from you. Shut up.
Everyone wants to hear from me. So, I've spoken to Lossy management, and they have spoken to me about this match, and they have not only agreed to turn this match into a lumberjack match. I'm sorry, but a few of you may not know what that means. That means you can't run, you can't hide, you cannot escape this fight. It's on.
There we go then. Buck Garcia has decided to take it upon himself to turn this into a lumberjack match. Dave Francisco runs his mouth a lot about how he is running through this roster when he's going to have absolutely no choice but to face Buck Garcia one-on-one. And he's not going to be able to escape because the ring is going to be surrounded by lumberjacks. And for those of you who are maybe not aware of what a lumberjack match is, what it means is professional wrestlers from the Lossy roster will surround the ring and ensure that both competitors remain in the ring. And God forbid if they happen to spill out, and of course, you would have noticed quite a number of your Colossus favourites will be at ringside for this lumberjack match, and Buck Garcia will finally get a shot at David Francisco.
All the wrestlers surrounding the ring are there to make sure neither of them can escape. If they leave the ring, they're going to be chucked back in where they are supposed to be.
It's worth pointing out a number of these wrestlers. As the MC pointed out, MC has pointed out that, of course, the Lumberjacks are here to maintain some form of order, but they are not to interfere in the match per se. If they get in the ring and get involved, they will be disqualified, or at least the wrestler who they attack on behalf will no doubt be disqualified. Dave Francisco, who for a number of months now has been referred to as the man of zero aura. Lossy Posse's words, not mine. David Francisco will have the opportunity to prove that he can do just that. He will have the opportunity to back up what he's been saying and dispatch Buck Garcia. But Buck Garcia is a very exciting young product, and we are very happy that he will finally have the chance to answer this open challenge. And David Francisco is extra hot, courtesy of the fact that Buck Garcia eliminated him from the single swim rumble. Lovely shotgun drop kick to open things up, and Buck Garcia wasting little time tearing in to David Francisco. And I imagine with all of the disgusting comments that David Francisco made on behalf of Buck Garcia's family, the insults that were levied towards him and his family, Buck Garcia is looking to get his pound of flesh, and David Francisco exits the ring, doesn't want any part of Buck Garcia right now, and here is the X factor of this matchup. There you go, that's exactly what the Lumberjacks are assigned to do, to ensure that David Francisco can't run away and hide from Buck Garcia, who lights his chin up with a blinding forearm to the chin and a knife-edge chop as well. And dare I say, David Francisco finally getting what he deserves, courtesy of Buck Garcia, one of the more exciting products of the TPW Academy. David Francisco able to escape that knife-edge chop, delivers a forearm of his own. And you know what, there's a lot of talk about David Francisco, but I will say, when it comes down to it, David Francisco is one of the better wrestlers, and Buck Garcia recognising the element of the lumberjack match, which is what he asked for, as he ducks the clothes on, and the knife-edge chop sends David Francisco crashing back down to the canvas. Mark True, you might have noticed, is one of the lumberjacks, and certainly will be more than vocal, as per usual, as you would expect. Of course, we've already seen True and Lacey here at Coastal Clash 2 as Buck Garcia with a roaring forearm in the corner after an Irish whip reversed by David Francisco, sending Buck Garcia into the buckle. Lovely escape there from Buck Garcia, puts the brakes on and delivers a forearm again to David Francisco, and lovely rising knee lift while standing on the apron. Brilliant balance from Buck Garcia, every bit the athlete here at Colossus, and now looking to springboard in with beautiful elbow drop from the springboard, pinning combination, 2 count only. Buck Garcia had enough David Francisco's mouth, and David Francisco has certainly been running it ever since he walked in the door here at Colossus. This open challenge has certainly reaped great rewards, but it's worth pointing out that David Francisco has taken many a shortcut to maintain that winning record here at Colossus. Buck Garcia is going to have to be very aware of the wily tactics of one centerpiece, David Francisco, who ducks the clothesline attempt, and whoa, hello. Well, I do believe, I didn't see anyone grab hold of David Francisco. I think David Francisco deliberately tripped himself up. There is absolutely no measure this man will not go to ensure some form of advantage. As Buck Garcia finds himself on the outside, and a vicious drop kick by Francisco to Buck Garcia. Well, it's meant to be a lumberjack match, but both men are on the outside as we speak. Nobody seems to be getting involved right now. As soon as you spill to the outside, you are fair game as far as lumberjack rules are concerned, but these lumberjacks happy to let David Francisco and Buck Garcia settle their differences while they are both on the outside, I guess. Barking, particularly at Alex Aces, an individual, of course, who had a crack at David Francisco in said open challenge. Jawbreaker applied by Buck Garcia. Go behind, waistlock control. Rolls up David Francisco, 2 count only. And a vicious lariat. A European lariat from David Francisco to Buck Garcia, and now you see the methodical nature, the dissection of David Francisco. Looking to isolate limbs, pick apart Buck Garcia, and does so. Picked apart his face with that violent kick right across the side of the face, and now just stamping across the shoulder. David Francisco, the more confident he gets, that is bad news for Buck Garcia, because David Francisco certainly has no problem slowly but surely dissecting and tearing apart this young competitor. European uppercut delivered by Francisco with a thumb. Now looking for a suplex, and true, certainly seems to be highly invested in David Francisco. Standard suplex applied at the behest of Mark Drew. Hitting combination by David Francisco. Leg was hurt, but Buck Garcia was able to escape before the 3 count. Snapman takeover by the centerpiece. Just drilling that left knee right into the spine. Buck Garcia once again. We had a number of the lumberjacks trying to wheel Buck Garcia back into the fight. Dare I say, a number of this roster have quite frankly had enough of listening to David Francisco run his mouth ad nauseum here at Colossus, as Buck Garcia shows a bit of fight, and now a double underhook into a driver of sorts. Looks like an inverted double underhook DDT. Combination 2 count only, says our head official. Francisco is completely in charge of this matchup as we speak. And Buck Garcia is looking worse for wear after every physical outing. Well, this crowd clearly behind Buck Garcia, who's getting lit up. David Francisco asking Buck Garcia to give him his best shot, and he does so, and not enough pepper on those strikes. And David Francisco, to his credit, showing you how it's done. Vicious forearms and a knife edge chop to boot, and now looking for a scoop slam. Got into a scoop slam position, just dumps him down like a piece of trash. A variation of world's strongest slam, drops the elbow as well. Does David Francisco, now hitting combination once again, and Buck Garcia just about able to escape before the 3 count. And it's fair to say that when it comes to experience, even power and size advantage, David Francisco has the edge, particularly when it comes to experience. Francisco has been there and pretty much done it all as far as professional wrestling is concerned on the British landscape. There's no denying the talent and the ability of David Francisco. The fact that he left his home country, shotgun drop kick into the spine of Buck Garcia, left his home country so that he could come over here and ply his trade and represent his country as one of the finest technical wrestlers in Europe. Unfortunately, his attitude seems to have just become worse and worse over time, and Buck Garcia is unfortunately going to suffer the wrath of such a bad attitude in this Lumberjack Open Challenge. Garcia was looking for a victory roll there, but Dave Francisco was very wise for that. And now just applies a headlock, a rear naked choke to Buck Garcia. It's fair to say that Dave Francisco, for the most portion of this matchup, has been well in control of the younger, more inexperienced Buck Garcia. No doubt, Garcia has a very, very bright future in professional wrestling. The amount of time he's putting in, able to separate with a stunner of sorts, almost a jawbreaker variation of the stunner. Dave Francisco escapes, Irish whip into the corner. Buck Garcia springboards up to the second rope. Lovely missile drop kick out of the corner by Buck Garcia. Catches Dave Francisco flush, and dare I say, Buck Garcia needs to head to the air as he gets a 2 count out of David Francisco. Took a while to cover there. That's that lack of inexperience I was talking about. So Buck Garcia, I would argue, would have the high-flying advantage, the agility and athleticism advantage over David Francisco. And he's going to have to use every bit of that to try and disable the ample talents of the centerpiece. Francisco's going to have a clothesline, and now a German suplex applied beautifully by Buck Garcia. Wasn't expecting that on my bingo card here in this open challenge, ladies and gentlemen. And Dave Francisco looking a little worse for wear now, and a meteor of sorts. Didn't get all of it, but enough. Drove Francisco down into the canvas, and that once again garners a 2 count. But Francisco, to his credit, is able to answer everything that Buck Garcia has thrown at him. And you see, of course, definitely on one side of the ring, the more favourable lumberjacks who are in Buck Garcia's corner, looking to support him in this matchup, trying to will this young man to what would be an incredible victory against David Francisco, who looking for a timeout and looking to hide behind his portion of the lumberjacks. And come on, that is not how that is supposed to go down. These lumberjacks are supposed to be completely unbiased, but they're protecting Francisco. Meanwhile, Buck Garcia takes to the skies and wipes out, one half of the lumberjacks. And pretty evident that there's a 50-50 split in terms of who wants to support Dave Francisco and who wants to see him beaten and humbled a little here at Colossus. Garcia now in control, reverse DDT position into the eye of the storm. Now hooks the leg, looking for a 3 count, almost got it, but Dave Francisco once again gets his shoulder up. Buck Garcia is going to need every single bit of his arsenal, I think, to knock off someone of the talents of David Francisco. Buck Garcia looking to build some momentum here. Certainly seems to be in control of this matchup finally.
Yes, David. Hey, Buck, come on. David, so sorry.
But look at Francisco bagging off at Buck Garcia. Ran his mouth for so long, insulted Buck's family.
I'm sorry you're so bad at professional wrestling.
He obviously has absolutely no class, and he's going to suffer for that with these vicious roundhouse kicks to the chest. And Buck Garcia has finally had enough. Francisco puts the brakes on. Maybe took a little bit too long. Loading the chamber with that roundhouse kick, and now powerbomb position! Drilled into the canvas as Buck Garcia, courtesy of David Francisco. We could be nearing the end momentarily with that vicious ripcord lariat right across the chest, but Buck Garcia is able to escape before the count of 3. Buck Garcia has shown himself to have a lot of magic and a lot of fight, a lot of heart in this matchup. Francisco's up to the top rope, unfamiliar ground, as you can see, almost lost his balance, but still delivered a clothesline off the top. Some of the lumberjacks obviously very happy to see David Francisco in charge of this matchup. Once again, the Lossy Posse are all over David Francisco with a 0 or a chance. He's absolutely made it very clear that he does not tolerate those chants. He doesn't appreciate them, but he's going to get them whether he likes it or not. One day, David Francisco is going to learn. Looking for his finishing maneuver there, but Buck Garcia was able to roll through quite nicely. This is just a trade-off now between forearm strikes between Buck Garcia and Dave Francisco. Both men loading the chambers, but nobody coming out on top as we speak. And a vicious knife edge chop. Francisco and Buck Garcia almost out on their feet. Exhaustion is starting to set in. We have been out here for some time now, and a suplex applied by Buck Garcia follows him in with a pinning combination and a 2 count only. Buck Garcia has got to take advantage of this moment. He's got to take advantage of the fact that Dave Francisco is on the canvas. Taking his time to measure Dave Francisco took way too long, and meanwhile a straight left hand to the chin, and now double underhook once again. Well, Buck Garcia able to escape. Francisco count, come on, right in front of the referee. Francisco counted the victory roll attempt, but was using the ropes, and luckily for Buck Garcia, 50% of our lumberjacks were very quick to recognize that fact, and David Francisco would do well to pay more attention to what's going on with Buck Garcia, showing no respect to Ronnie Knox, one of our lumberjacks on the outside. Come on, slapping Ronnie Knox in the face. The lack of respect that David Francisco has for anybody, much less Ronnie Knox. Ronnie Knox was looking to take a swing, and now things are breaking down real quickly here between our lumberjacks. I was wondering how long it would take, and it is just a Pier 6 brawl here at Coastal Clash 2, and David Francisco is going to be more than happy to just chill out in the background and watch things break down as they are between all of these lumberjacks. And meanwhile, wait a minute, David Francisco was distracting the referee, and you might have seen in the background Chris Oak planted Buck Garcia with a spine buster. That should have been a disqualification. Francisco knows all too well what he's doing, and Chris Oak was the plant. Well, there's a handshake, and obviously Chris Oak was very aware of the modus operandi for this matchup, and poor Buck Garcia has been wiped out courtesy of a monstrous spinebuster, courtesy of Chris Oak. And now David Francisco is going to pick apart the remains of Buck Garcia and chalk up another dub here in the Open Challenge. 0-0 is the cry, but I don't think it's going to do much as he's got him up beautifully and now delivers that delayed Uranagi finisher. David Francisco with the pin on Buck Garcia. The damage was done by Chris Oak, and Francisco picks up another win here at Colossus. David Francisco, courtesy of a vicious ruckus, was able to dispatch poor Buck Garcia. But let's not forget the true story. The facts here are that Chris Oak stuck his sizable nostrils into where they didn't belong and delivered a spinebuster to Buck Garcia. He laid the groundwork so that David Francisco could pick up the win here in his Open Challenge, and Chris Oak certainly looks very happy with his handiwork, and David Francisco certainly would be well to do in showing a bit of love to Chris Oak, and Buck Garcia knows all too well what's gone down here this afternoon at Colossus. Exactly that. David Francisco hiding behind Chris Oak, which is essentially what he did in the closing part to this matchup. Francisco has Garcia, understandably so, extremely upset with just how this match has played out. But once again, David Francisco seems to have an unending arsenal of ability to escape the wrath of what frankly many people, especially the Lossy Posse, believes he deserves, which is a bloody good kicking at the hands of our roster. And David Francisco soaks up the lack of adoration here at Colossus. Coastal Clash 2 provides yet another dub in the win column for this man, the centerpiece David Francisco.